This hour has 22 minutes.
And the birth of the new year, 1994, was celebrated in time-honored traditions throughout the world. In Moscow, crowds of revelers gathered in Red Square. In Toronto, crowds of partygoers gathered in Nathan Phillips Square. And in Northern Ireland, crowds of people scattered in a Belfast Square.
First, Air Canada unveiled its new logo, a 6-meter-high red maple leaf on an evergreen background, representing, according to its American designers, all things Canadian. At a cost of 22 million Canadian dollars, this American makeover, according to Air Canada's American CEO, Harris Hollis, will increase the struggling carrier's revenue. Now, in its continuing commitment to high profits at whatever cost, Air Canada today revealed its new policy. Non-stop direct flights only from Vancouver to Toronto, with drop-offs in Winnipeg, Regina, Calgary, and Edmonton. Air Canada and you.
In Russia, ultra-nationalist leader Vladimir Zhirinovsky has been named Man of the Year, according to a recent poll. Among the many reasons given, his acute skill in international diplomacy,
obliterate Germany,
his astute choice of shadow cabinet from among some of the brightest intellectuals in the country, his commitment to self-growth and self-discovery, and his balletic grace and polished charm. And apparently he promised everyone a pizza pig out over at his place if they voted for him.
In international news, rebels belonging to the Zapatista Army of National Liberation continue to push for reform in the southern Chiapas region of Mexico.
Among the demands of the Zapatistas, more land for the peasants, better education for the poor, and the reissue of all Frank Zappa's early recordings on CD.
Well, what's ahead in 1994? Let's find out with this hour's metaphysical technicians, Gertie Lou and Gail Ann Sphinxler of New York. Well, Mrs. Sphinxlers, what can you tell us about 1994?
She's Galen.
She's Gertie Lou. We're twins.
Yes, that's fascinating. But what about 1994?
Well, as we move into 94 and leave 93 behind, we're going to have the feeling that as if we're closing a door on something and moving into something new.
New vistas will open up for many people as they travel, become involved with UFOs and drug experimentation, whether federally funded or not.
Yes, but what about our country now? What's in the future for Canada?
Oh, Canada. It's going to be very boring. I see, though, plenty of ice cream, 2 flavors, chocolate and vanilla.
That's right. Canada, you're a beautiful country. Stand up tall, don't slouch, eat, eat. Hang on to your water, your precious resources.
Your gas.
My sister loves comedy.
And she loves tragedy. But I love tragedy, too.
And I love comedy. That's life, and I think we're going to see a lot more of life in 1994.
Uh-huh. The poor will be getting...
Poorer.
And the rich?
I'm not getting it. I need help. Help me.
Richer?
Oh.
Bingo!
You're good.
You're good.
You're good.
Now, death. I think we're going to see a lot of elderly people dying this year, and sadly, some young people as well.
But roll on, death, and let's have a go at the angels.
That's beautiful.
And don't forget the potatoes.
And what about me, J.B. Dixon? What do you see in my future?
Oh, fire walking. For you, JB, firewalking, because the global firewalking movement is growing and expanding.
Gertie Lou and I cannot urge you enough, JB, to get out there and walk on hot coals as soon as possible.
Firewalking changed Geraldo Rivera's life.
Yes,
as did, of course,
thank
having
you,
his bum
Mrs.
lifted onto his
Sphinxlers.
forehead.
I'm sure we'll have you back again in 1995.
Here's a beautiful
Good night.
forehead.
Classic.
You have a
Goodbye.
beautiful forehead. Does she mean it, or is she just goofing around? Here's Babe Bennett.
Well, what do you think of that, huh? With the new reproductive technology, a gal no longer has to stand on her head and spit nickels to have a baby. In fact, now they can take an egg from a younger gal and plant it in an older dame's womb. But now, there's a doctor in France who says it's immoral for a gal to have a baby in her later years. Immoral? He can't mean that. He must be goofing around. On the other hand, when an older guy who ought to be cagged off in a chair with a pea bag on his leg gets a gal in the family way, it's let the bells ring out and the banners fly. What I'd like to know is, how moral is it for a guy whose idea of sex toys is a couple of tongue depressors secured by broccoli elastics to be having children anyway? How hard does it have to be for a guy in his 60s to have a child anyway? Well, I guess it'd have to be a little bit hard, wouldn't it? But I don't think it'd be nearly as hard as, say, for a guy in his 20s with no career established or anything. I'm just kidding. I'm just goofing around. Well, why oughtn't a gal have a baby at whatever age she wants? It's not like she can't handle it. Why, gals handle everything these days. But you know, I can't help thinking there's a reason why women run out of eggs in their 50s or so. Just when the kids are gone, the dishwasher's humming, the divorce is final, she's on a bit of a break, I guess. Why, if a gal in her 60s said to me she wanted to have a baby and read the Velveteen Rabbit another 400 times, I'd say she was crazy. I'd say she was fooling. I'd say she was goofing around.
And Americans were surprised to wake up on New Year's Day to the newly erected death clock.
The clock tallies the number of gun-related deaths in the United States up to the very second. While handguns are not considered a problem in Canada, we face an equally deadly foe every day. In response to these winter tragedies, Health and Welfare Canada has erected Canada's very first shoveler's clock.
After repeated demands from Amnesty International, a letter-writing campaign from Latin American prisoners, and a special appeal from Muammar Gaddafi, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation has finally listened and has stopped the torture. Ralph Ben-Mergui has been set free. He will no longer have to endure the torment and anguished misery of the repeated attacks of a disgruntled Canadian media. No longer will he be the fall guy for all that's wrong with the CBC. After a week in a top-secret CBC debriefing center, Ben-Mergui will be finally returned to some semblance of a normal life. Godspeed, Ralph. And from all of us here at 22 Minutes, we beg the CBC in the name of humanity, free Betty Kennedy now!
This hour has 22 Minutes is proud to present media pundits Stuart Steed and Steve Steele with The Right Answer. Men, we salute you.
Okay, let's start it all off with the Mexican Peasant Revolution.
Peasants? The army? I think I know who my money's on. Dieppe the movie.
Please, did it really take 4 hours to tell this story? They were only on the beach for 8. Did you see this movie?
No, I plan to see it in purgatory.
Zaranovsky,
I like them.
You gotta.
New safety regulations for foreign ships in Canadian waters.
Look, I have seen these survival suits. I have worn these survival suits. I've seen these Filipinos, 4 guys, 1 suit, no sweat. Look, they're small people. It's not my fault. Blame the big guy. Davis Inlet.
2 words, buyer's market. Michael Jackson.
Guilty! And another thing, I'd like to see the cop who would make me drop my pants for a camera, not while there's blood pumping through these veins. Mountie Brass Band loses their funding.
Oh, yes. That's why they died on the beaches. There's money for child pornographers. Oh, there's money for the ballet. But there's no money for the musical ride and Colonel Bogey's march. Gretchen meets the Queen.
What? I thought he meant Bob Ray in June. Predictions for 1994?
Sheila Copps, tracheotomy.
Steve Fogno, a big comeback.
What, another run?
Nope, he opens a bar.
And that's the right answer.
Now, the average Canadian gained 5 pounds over Christmas. Now, there's 25 million Canadians. That means this country has gained 125 million pounds over the holidays. Now, if I am any indication at all of an average Canadian, well, at least half of that must have been caused by gravy. Now, as far as saying to yourself on New Year's Eve, I'm gonna have a washboard stomach by spring break, sorry, it just ain't gonna happen. But don't worry, dieters have it even easier than the smoker. And January is a very, very difficult time on the smoker. Just go to any government building and you'll see them out there. Hundreds of them in the freezing cold, out there cutting the extra long filter off of the extra mild cigarette, screaming to the heavens for a stronger cigarette like they used to smoke in 1993. See, the secret to successful New Year's Eve resolutions are to make Canadian resolutions, and hopefully simple Canadian resolutions. Say to yourself, I'm not gonna stop eating meat, but I'll cut my gravy intake by half. I'm not gonna stop drinking, but I'll consider ordering light beer with my lunch. See, these are the secrets to successful New Year's Eve resolutions. I know, because I've been doing it for years.
And now it's time to look in on this hour's special correspondent, Sandy Campbell.
Oh, I love it, Daphne. Oh, hi. Sandy Campbell here with some crazy news. Pablo Escobar, the Colombian drug lord, died in a rooftop shootout of natural causes. Well, natural for his crowd. And due to the popularity of drugs like Prozac and Zoloft, the letter Z is very popular for 94. So words with passé letters like X will have replacements put in. Like relax will be relax. Expect will be expect. You know, xylophone will be xylophone. But says, as usual, will just be sex, same as it always was, unfortunately. Kidding! Sorry. Oh, yeah, I just got back from England. I was to a party for the Guinness Book of World Records. Almost had a fling with the lady who grew the most facial hair. Crying game reversed. Oh, here's the word on John Bobbin. Apparently, he thought his penis was cut off accidentally. Drink much, John? Of course, bobbitize has now become a new word for a cut that hurts, like a bad haircut or something. You'd go, oh no, they totally bobbitized my hair. Oh look, they bobbitized me. Now I'll have it cut in a bob, I guess. That's all. Oh geez, I don't know if this is totally dry, you know, Daphne. I'm gonna go under for another minute.
The following is a three-time political broadcast. On behalf of the Newfoundland Separation Federation, Jerry Boyle.
Hello, I am Jerry Boyle. Do you wake each morning with what feels like a cold monkey's paw gripping at your heart and a hot talon hooked in your stomach? If the answer to these questions is yes, then you are like me. And it must be time to say Happy New Year. The high point for me in '93 would have to be that week of the unemployment insurance overpayment of over $600. Oh, happy day. And the low point would have to be the discovery of the unemployment insurance overpayment of $600, the subsequent incarceration, and 200 hours of community service. But next year I will do things differently, for I have learned that insanity is not a good plea on a simple jaywalking ticket. Too dramatic. And I learned that if Revenue Canada is hounding you like a rodent, the way to deal with them is not by uttering verbal threats. They seem to have long memories. So, in closing, I would like to wish all of you a Happy New Year, especially Debbie down at Revenue Canada, one of the prettiest tax auditors you've ever seen. And remember, in '94, if you can mark an X, you're my kind of people.
Hi, I'm Mark Delahunty, and I'd like to know right off the bat, who makes all these rules? For instance, in an adult XXX erotic movie, I couldn't slap you on the bum. But in a PG-13 movie, I could smack the arse off you. I could cut off your arse with a chainsaw if I wanted to in a PG-13 movie. In an erotic film, I couldn't push you up against the wall. But in a PG-13 movie, I could push you up against the wall. I could beat your head off against that wall. I could shove you right through that GD wall. And when I got you out the other side, I could pump you so full of bullet holes, you'd look like Swiss cheese. Who makes these rules? Personally, now, I don't care about pornography. I don't watch it. Well, not by choice, anyway. Sometimes in hotel rooms up in Toronto. I was up there on business, haul your smutty minds out of the gutter. Well, they've got those adult movie channels, and when you're clicking around the TV, you're bound to hit them. And yes, I admit, over the last couple of years, I have been watching the 3 minutes they let you watch without charging the $9.95 to your room. And okay, I have been able to watch them without dying of embarrassment and shame. It must be age, I suppose. I suppose by the time I'm actually ready to do it, I'll be dead. Oh, I do it, for God's sakes. Normal up. Well, I have done it. I mean, I have youngsters, for Christ's sakes, who are probably doing it right now as we speak. Gary! Get out of there! Okay, hockey fans, we've got a special treat for you tonight. Coach Peter Boom Boom McCormick and Coach Bob Nobby Spurl are standing by at the rink with Hockey Notebook.
Welcome to Hockey Notebook. Get in here, Coach. Thanks, Coach. Today on Hockey Notebook, little known fact that most hockey greats smoked cigarettes.
The Pocket Rocket, 2 packs a day.
Guy Lafleur, 3 packs.
He smoked them on the bench.
Boom Boom Jeffrey he rolled his own, one-handed. He actually kept the tobacco tin on top of the net.
Now look at kids, we are not saying that it's okay to smoke cigarettes.
No, but if you must smoke, smoke them in the locker room, smoke them on the bench. But if you smoke those cigarettes on the ice,
You're out of the game.
because those cigarette butts are gonna clog up that Zamboni machine.
And the Zamboni driver, who he himself probably once had a promising hockey career, is an integral part of the game that we call hockey.
So show some respect. You have been watching
Hockey Notebook.
And now, with an editorial comment, here's Frank McMillan. Frank?
Dear Santa, can you read? Did I ask for soap on a rope? Did I ask for size 12 Czechoslovakian leatherette sandals? No. Santa, I thought I spelled Lionel electric train set quite correctly. Don't trifle with me, fat boy. It would be a shame if something happened to one of your reindeer, if you get my drift. So I repeat, dear Santa, one Lionel electric train set. Chop, chop. P.S. I know where you live.
And that was editorial comment. Nice to see some people still believing in jolly old Saint Nick.
Last week, it was revealed that the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission and the U.S. Office of Naval Research had financed testing which injected pregnant women with radioactive iron, fed radioactive paint chips to the elderly, and sprinkled plutonium on the cereal of young children. But today, a U.S. AEC spokesperson said, well, if people are going to get all shirty about it and threaten lawsuits and everything, well, we just won't do any more nuclear testing on humans. And see how they like that.
You know, I think all this talk about radioactivity is really overblown. You know, it kind of reminds me of that faulty microwave scare of the late 70s. Now, I've had a microwave for over 20 years and never a problem.
Frank.
Oh, cereal.
Hey, look, Frank's glowing again. Look at that. All right. Vampires burning, drawn near.